Back, guys, to another Sunday live stream where myself and Andy are blessed to have you guys visit us, hang out here, and let us take a look at your work. It's humbling, and I really appreciate you guys showing up every Sunday, putting yourself out there to not only myself, Andy, the people in the chat, but everybody to watch it. It takes a lot to do that. I'm going to mute myself over here, but bam. So again, I just want to say, excuse me. And thank you for doing that every week, for letting us take a look at it. If you're new here, make sure that you're prepared, okay? If you're sending work in, and we're going to try to do our best to be as honest and fair as we can, while, again, still being honest, right? We're going to try to find some good stuff that we can encourage you, but also tell you what you need to do. And you might need to have some thick skin at times and understand that what we're saying is just too, I'll say, idiots' opinions, because, you know, that's what we are. We're just two average tattoo artists who enjoy tattooing, love sharing with other people, sharing what little we know with other people, and just building a really cool community, because I'm telling you, that's what these live streams have built, is a really fun community, guys. I couldn't thank you guys enough for the support that you give. I'm encouraged through these by you guys, by our interactions and whatnot. I love the humor. If you're watching, if you're laying in the, on the bed, whatever, please get into the chat. We feed off the chat. We love reading what you guys have to say on the side. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's derogatory, but all in all, as you get to know the characters and the people in the chat, you'll understand that everybody's come from a place of love, I do believe. Minus Smoke and Danik, they're just hooligans that we have to deal with, But other than that, guys, again, I want to say thank you to Andy for being here, for giving up his evenings with us. In the UK, it is already 10:30 p.m. So by the time we're done, guys, it's really late for Andy. And I really thank you for being here, because it is so much better having two voices than one. Two opinions are better than one. And also, again, just in general, it's much easier to carry a stream along when you got a couple people there. So nonetheless, we'll bring in the ruthless Andy Bay.
That's me. I am here for another one. Got second live in a week. This Dave.
Yeah. Well, we're on fire, man. I tell you what, yeah. We did the last Sunday, then we did some live for you.
Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I went live on Instagram, Andy.
Did you?
I did. I wanted to test it out. Somebody was telling me that the quality of the live stream, because for me to go on YouTube, I got this camera boom out on my wall, and I do all this crazy stuff, and it runs through the ceiling and drops down to my computer, and it's all this over-the-top stuff. Because if you go live on your phone on YouTube, it's like, in my experience, has been like potato quality. Nobody can see. You've been on the other end of those. It's super glitchy. But I tried it on Instagram just using my phone. It was relatively clear. So that was cool. I might go live on Instagram more often, just for the sake of it being kind of enjoyable and easy, to be quite honest. So anyway, that's all. So yeah, we've been live.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. As it sounds, your week been
good. Yeah. Where's your YouTube channel, Andy? Because they need to subscribe to your YouTube channel, because we're going to be going live this week again to just answer questions and whatnot. And there's going to be topics and stuff, I hear.
Yeah, well, like I said, a few topics, and we broach a few things, and then it's question and answers. It's the God, you're going to put me right here, Dave. It's the _tattoo_studio. Is that right?
Yeah, the tattoo studio. I'll put it in the chat right here. Let's see. And if you subscribe to this, it will, maybe YouTube will be so kind as to notify you when we go live. Okay, so that's going to be that's a separate thing where we answer questions and stuff. We're here, we take a look at your work. Over there, answer questions, have a good old time. And here is the
cool. Jason's also, Jason's already put it in as well. Cheers, Jason. Cheers. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. And like I say, I mean, bit of a different format, and we've chit-chatted about this, that it's just talk. In it, Dave. Different subjects, talk. Any tattoo questions that they want to pose and they want to throw at us, it's just straight up. It's coming out at chat. Where questions aren't coming, we'll chat. And basically, as long as it's tattoo related and it's on, shall we say, on topic, anything to do with tattoo, chuck it at us. We'll do us best. We'll get your comment on screen. We'll do us best to answer it. Not saying that, because as Dave said, we're only two regular guys that like to tattoo artists that just make a everyday living out of it. So we can only give you our opinions and our insights from basically what we do. And we will try and answer it to the best of our experiences, basically. That's all we can do. Innit, Dave? That's all you can do.
That's it. It's just two opinions.
Our experiences,
there's so much more.
Trials, tribulations, and we'll do that, and you get 2 points of view on it. I mean, I think this week, we'll have a go at, which will be quite funny, actually, Dave. I think we'll have a go at stenciling products and apps and stuff. Now,
love it.
Me and
you, a lot of questions about that stuff.
Yeah, and me and you are on two completely different sides of the fence with this.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
Like I say, because you're Apple products.
Yeah.
I don't like Apple products. I liken them to Marmite. You either love them or you hate them.
Right.
I don't, so I've had to find other ways of doing it. So I think that'd be a good. I think that'd be a good way to broach and that.
We're getting some more people trickling in. We're just giving it a few minutes, guys.
Yeah, before we start kicking off. This, that, and other. Like I say, if they're in, they need to give that 46 people watching. Smash a like on stream. Show Dave some love. I mean, he's here every Sunday for you. He's helping it out. At least you can do is just show him a bit of love. Smash that like button.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, guys. And again, we're going to be checking out your guys' work soon. Email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Send your work into there. It's a first come, first serve basis. So we only look at what's sent in live. So once that notification went out, as soon as the notification that says, hey, we're going to be going live at whatever time, that's when you can start sending your work in. And we'll start from the first person and work our way up. We'll go for a couple of hours and we'll get through as much as we can. We'll just give our, you know the drill if you've been here before. But if you're new, that's pretty much the operation. So if we don't make it to yours, that's just the way it is. Come back next Sunday and we'll absolutely do our best to do that as well. With that being said, let's take a look at our thumbnail for today. This one was interesting. Bam, here we go. Yeah, I don't know. This is on a girl's arm, right? Like that's on her, what appears to be her left deltoid there. And my goodness, man, somebody took on some stuff they shouldn't have done. They're just barely, I know you can't see these colors too well. The saturation is not there. This is what happens when we don't really know what we're doing and we take on projects we absolutely shouldn't be taking on. And this is what you end up with. I don't know what these are, like claws, like fingers are so like claws. And then what is that? Is that? It just looks deadly. And I just feel so bad for this girl who has this on her. Ah, man, she got punched in both eyes. That noses, I don't know. This was kind of rough. I looked at it and got a little nervous. So this is what we're trying to avoid here by looking at your work. We're trying to just, take care of some stuff. What's up, Soft? Is it the business email? For business purposes, sure, you can send it there. I don't know that I'll see it per se. But if you have some business stuff, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. That is right here. You'll see it at the bottom of the screen here, right above that. Dave Inks, or my IG is at daveinks.88 and Death Punch Inc. on Facebook. So if you have any business-related stuff, send it there, and we'll get back to you as soon as I can. But, yeah, I don't know, Andy. I just keep going over to your page every week and just seeing the craziest stuff, Well,
I thought we were doing pretty well because I'd actually drawn this on paper first and got the coloured pencils out. And it looked so much better on paper. And I just thought, well, it's this easy on paper. I thought it'd be so easy on skin. I didn't think there'd be any difference between colouring on paper and colouring on skin, Dave,
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, personally, if I close one eye, tilt my head to one side and squint, I don't think I did such a bad job.
No, I know. And when you tattoo that way with one eye squinted and all that, then obviously it looks just fine. But,
Yeah, I think I actually must have done this with a blindfold on.
well, good work. If
Um,
it was blindfolded,
yeah.
really, really, I'm seeing improvements every week here, Andy. Now people are jumping in all of a
See,
sudden. They're like, "What is
this is,
Andy
you
doing?"
see, I appreciate that, Dave, because you say you see improvements every week in my work, and I've been learning off your videos. I've been watching your video content, and
Yes.
like I say, I've been watching your lining, your shading, and techniques and everything. And I'm glad that you've said that I'm progressing because obviously your videos are teaching me something.
It's good. I can see it here, Andy. I can see it here.
Yeah.
Love the makeup you put on this piece here. As somebody said, she's beautiful. ET and drag. Oh, that's a good one. 322.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Chucky's wife. So see, I know very little. Bride of Claw Hand. Bride of Claw Hand. Oh yeah. We're not roasting tattoos like this.
Yeah,
This is
but
just a thumbnail. Somebody happened to put it on the internet
yeah,
and got it made his way around. So,
but I mean, and looks like that.
Go.
You know what I mean? Look,
What is? I don't even know what's going on. Like it looks like the right now. I'm looking at like this hand looks like here. What's coming across her body there? Is she holding lipstick, a knife?
I don't know.
I just don't know.
I think she's holding a vape machine. I think
Just like this.
It looks like she's getting ready to vape.
Right. Oh man, I don't even know. That's funny though. All right. Somebody's in love with the tattoo. All right. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Valium
Well,
FM. Whee. I think you've been on the Valium.
yeah. All right. So anyhow, let's let this one go. Bam, and we're back. Okay. So with all that out of the way, guys, let's get to business here. I'll stop running my mouth. Let's see the first one up here. I know I don't have it showed yet. Looks like Jerry Vision. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails as of now, guys. So there's still time. Emails going at the bottom of the screen. We'll go till we run out or till we run out of time. Either one.
If we don't get any more emails, Dave, I says I might get an early to bed. You never know. You know what I mean?
That can't happen, Andy. That will not happen. We ain't going to bed early. We'll find something to blab about.
Like I said, I'm definitely going to run a stream and get up at 1 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's 1 o'clock your time. Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like, Dave, remember that random stream I told you we were gonna?
Yeah.
Soon. Also, guys, just posted a new piece on the Instagram or Facebook, so jump over there if you wouldn't mind. Give it a like. Support us. I guess that's it. Just give it a like. I don't know. All right, I'd appreciate it. All right. Daughter-in-law put this on me today. She's been tattooing less than a year. All right, daughter-in-law. Okay. Let's get in here and take. Oh, that's too far. Here we go. Daughter-in-law. So your husband's wife, or your husband's. I'm so sorry, Jerry. Your son's wife. Gotcha. Yeah, you know what, Andy? I think the line work's pretty solid on this.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's not looking too bad. There's a couple of places I can see that maybe the lines have been drilled a little bit.
Right.
And either the machine may have been running a little bit fast, the hand's been running a little bit slow because you can see. Shut up. You can see the redness. And when you got in, especially in some of the black areas, just a couple of them, not so many, just a couple of them, just look a little bit overworked. But other than that, it's like I said, got good line weight, good use of line weights. Different liners, this, that, and other. The black seems to be in there. The piece, it's quite a simplistic piece. But
yeah, it's simplistically done, but
yeah.
When you do simple stuff, had they messed up some serious line work here, it would be that much more noticeable. And for the most part, it's pretty decent. I would say maybe and it's easier said than done at times, but all these little lines down here, what would have been real nice had they been a little bit more consistent, right? That's something you could definitely do to take this piece and turn it up a notch. And it's hard to tell yourself to do that, is to really take your time, make sure each one of those lines is as good as you can make them, but still it's not bad in any way. I would focus on that too and make sure these blacks are filled in really, really well. It looks like they could use for a little bit more saturation, but there's nothing crazy popping out in those regards. Cool. Jerry, your daughter-in-law is doing good. Tell her to keep at it. Mary, a.k.a. Jason here. And Jeremy, make sure you add more eyelashes. Always more eyelashes. Can never have enough eyelashes, huh, Andy?
You never have enough eyelashes.
When in doubt, just eyelash it out.
That's the one.
Yeah. The new one, Pikachu. All right, Andy, I'm going to click on it and hand it to you. Ba-bam.
Boom. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Jason or Mary Rouser in the chat. He's still using his wife's.
Yeah, just let me soak it up.
I will zoom in and we'll take a walk up.
Yeah, well, obviously, if you stop there, Dave, just right there. I mean, the first thing, I'll be honest, Jason, that strikes me here, the bottom part of the body, the line on the left-hand side to the line on the right-hand side, the line weights. The one on the left-hand side to me looks like it's been gone over a couple of times and it's been fattened out that way. Now, shall I say the saturation within the lines seems to be there, but your lines are still, Jason, your lines are in areas, your lines are still looking a little bit hesitant. You know, they're not, you know, try get into that, you know, pull it round, but then try not to force your hand too far. This is where you just got to get comfy with your machine, comfy with your skin, this, that, and other. What I will say, colour-wise, it seems to be packed in solid. The orange, the deeper orange seems to be solid. There's a couple of little places within the yellow that may have a bit of a holiday, and maybe a little patchy. But I mean, but generally, I mean, we're super close in here, and that couple of, especially on the left-hand side there, where the things, couple of the lines a little bit lighter compared to the right-hand side. So these are the things that you're just going to have to balance yourself out. Like I said, some of the lines could be in cleaner. What you're thinking, Dave? Like I said, someone could be a bit cleaner, like they've been passed, and they've got a bit of an inconsistent line weight, a bit thicker, you know, and a little bit shaky. They could have just, there's room for a little bit of improvement on, you know, the line work.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with like 99%, Andy, of what you said, because backing up just a hair bit here, Jason, also known as Mary in the chat, still using his wife. You need to get your own count there, Jason, so that way we can stop calling you Mary and Jason. People all confused. Anyhow, huge improvement, man. I mean, last week was a big improvement with that piece. This was an improvement. So definitely kudos to you there. What I like the most about this piece is the level of saturation. You're definitely taking your time. You're getting these tones nicely saturated, right? If you want to blend more, you can. Maybe you didn't want to. Either way, I'll let that be. Like Andy said, there is a couple spots in the yellow here. That's forgivable. The black is nice saturated, but obviously, like Andy hit, it is the line work that we would love to see you go a little step further, because if you had the same saturation with better, more crisp, smooth lines, the smoothness in it, right? You got the right depth, it seems like, but there is some hesitation there. There's a bit more going over it, you know. Up here, as you can see, the body changes, right? You might be running the same depth here. You get up here, all of a sudden the needles are doing something different. And also you're getting comfortable with moving around a curved surface. How far can you move your hand in your machine before you run out of space and you need to reset, or how? Anyhow, line work is pretty much going to be something you're going to want to really focus on, because I think color saturation is coming along well. So
yeah, I mean, it's like we say. I mean, Jason, it's come a long way. He has come a long way.
From, for sure. When in a short amount of time, really.
Yeah, and kudos for him sending his work in, and his putty thing still shaky for some reason. Jason, look, everybody's shaky when they're on skin to start with. The only way you get out of that shakiness is with confidence, and the only way you get the confidence, the more you do, the more confident you get.
Yes.
And it's one of them situations. Like I said, keep practicing. The more you do, the more confident you get. Take away that you got to be able to look back at your own work and think, yeah, it's a little bit stepped. I wanted that line a bit smooth. It's not in, that line's not quite as saturated as that line. And when you don't, if you look at it and you think, before client goes or whatever, you look, you think, well, that line weight's just not quite on, it's not saturation. Just go back in before they go. You know, redo it, clean it off. If needs be, just go around. I always have, when I've done and I've done my tattoo, I'll give it a full clean down. I use a foam cleaning soap, clean it all down, and it brings all the colours out. And then I'll just look from top to bottom. I'll just systematically look all the way through my tattoo and make sure I'm happy with everything before I let the client up, you know, and away from the chair. And that's just how I work it for a tattoo. You just got to get into that sort of practice and be able to step away from your own work and look at it as if you're critiquing somebody else's work. And think, right, well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a sign of being thorough.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go ahead and I got to fix something real quick here. I don't know why that's acting funny. Hang with me for just a minute, guys. Sorry. Let's see if this will work. Oops, wrong button again. 1 second, guys. Appreciate it again for your patience. Okay, let's see. Bam, there we go. That should make it a little bit better. All right. Okay, sorry about that. But all right. Again, Jason, thanks for sending that in, man. Awesome to see you guys improve and give you something to walk away with, something more to work on. So next up is Unknown Sleep. Unknown, what's going on? He's in the chat as well. Good to have you here this evening. Hey guys, you may remember these aliens. They are fully healed as well. Gosh, I'm drinking soda, so I'm burping. As the Rick and Morty one, still yet to finish. Both of them with color and shade, but here they are. Not exactly sure what we're saying. Hey guys, remember these aliens? They are fully healed. Okay, so we got fully healed aliens. Oh, the Rick and Morty. Okay, I roughly remember. All right, you can kind of see this little bits right here. This kind of lets you know if it's fully healed, and it's got this sort of scabby kind of look to it, that the skin, it's usually a bit scarred, right? So you probably ran that machine. It doesn't look to be blown out per se, but it definitely looks like you were running your machine pretty fast and moving a little too slow for the speed. So that was causing too many pokes in a short distance, short period of time, causing a bit of scarring. But it's only in some spots that I can tell from here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think it's overly scarred, and I think with a little bit of time that will settle right out. You know, get some moisture, keep moisturizing it, you know, and it'll settle out and settle into skin. I mean, it's not scarred up to the point I've seen somewhere it's all raised and lumped, and you know, it looks like they've literally put it in with a knife blade. I do think that would actually settle out, to be fair.
Yeah, there's different variations of said scarring, and in fact, it could just be more overworked than anything. All right, well, that green settled pretty well.
Yeah,
I mean, greens can be kind of a pain to pack into the skin. I wish there was a bit more depth to this piece, but hey, if it is what it is, the lining is still a bit inconsistent. You know, maybe we talked about this before, I don't remember, but you can definitely see in a lot of these spots where the lining's been gone over and over. But I mean, for what it is, it's there. The green is packed. I'm not a big fan of the shading in this, and you know, it is what it is. I'm not loving it, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, the overall aesthetics of it, art-wise, before I say anything about the actual tattooing, it's a bit, for me, it's a little bit flat. It would have been nice to have, especially in the alien, 2 or 3 more colours in it, you know, even if it was just greens and a bit of yellow or whatever. And like I said, but I agree with you there, Dave. You can definitely see, even from this distance, when I look at the top of the head, the right-hand side, the thickness of the line, then as it gets to the top of the skull, it thins off.
Yeah.
And then comes back around and then fattens in, like where the lines have like been gone over. Oh, hey up. 1 minute.
Everything good?
Right. I just got a red screen.
Okay, sorry about that. Is it still red?
But yeah, but it's in, it's there. Nothing's come out. Nothing doesn't seem to have come out. You don't seem to have lost anything.
Yeah.
So in that respect, the tattoo's in. It's done. It's just the aesthetics and the finishing and the little bits of, shall we say, giving your artwork some more dynamics, if that's what.
Right. And you can always go back in there and do that for sure.
Yeah. Just so that when you initially look at it, it's like, poof, pop, there you go. You know what I mean? It's
right, because it has a lot more potential,
Yes.
to do more with it down the road. So does this. I mean, you can definitely practice more color work on this and really bring this piece to life, because as it is, obviously, it's a little busy, but I think it was meant to have color, so that'd be fun. But, yeah, it's kind of tough looking at older stuff if not remembering exactly how it looked fresh versus healed. But if they're right next to each other, if you have photos of this fresh and you got these healed photos, do your own research, put them next to each other, see what things looked like when they were fresh. Now you can see what happened when it was healed, compare and contrast notes, learn from your own stuff as well. So yeah, thanks for sending that in. I gotta clean my doggone glasses. They're like junk all over them. My goodness. Looking through speckles over here. I don't know if I got any glasses cleaners here. It doesn't look like it. All right. Doc says, been a while. These are the first tattoos I've been able to do after fair amount of burnout. Oh, right on. If you could let me know your thoughts, that'd be great. If you like, you can follow my Instagram at, all right, guys, if you want to follow Doc, you can follow him at STUS Doodles. I don't even know. Stu's Doodles, maybe? Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at what we got here, man. Hey, I like it. I haven't even zoomed in on it. I see little things here and there, but just from an aesthetic point of view, I like that. Such a bold, thick lining around the outside, black, super saturated, smaller line weights throughout the inside. The one thing that's bugging me would be, I wish you would see how this kind of has a bit more of a point to it. This one kind of rounds out a little bit. If you could just go back into it and just add a little bit more of a point right here, that would make me personally just add a little bit more to it. But aside from that, maybe a little over spot on the diamond here, getting picky, but I like it. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, the lightning bolts have come out of the eyes. You got one that's nice and pointed, one that's a bit rounded on the end. It would have been nice to see that tapered. One thing that does quite stand out to me on this one, the bottom of the dagger blade, the lines are nice and they look nice. It's got a nice curve on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A nice flow to it. Then you go further up, the actual where the dagger comes through the top of the skull. You've got a couple of nice single pass lines that come down there off either side of that slit opening. What just does seem, and this is nothing to do with this tattooing.
Sure.
What does just seem a little bit weird to me is for the size of the skull and the base of the knife, that handle looks a bit small.
You're right, it does.
It does look a bit small, out of proportion. But
I wonder if they took a smaller knife and then just like spread it out, put half up here and half down here.
But other than that, it is what it is. Diamond's pretty clean, pretty clean, consistent line weight around the outside of the skull. The black's saturated. You've got the like traditional rose where unfortunately you've done that, but the leaves, the line weights on unfortunately the line weights on the top leaf and the bottom leaves are all different. It's the mismatched of them leaves, where with this type of rose, they would be the same.
Right.
Same line weight all the way around. So whether you've basically blown a line and filled it in. And like I've said in other lives, that if you do that and you've got a fat, and there's 3 leaves there, and if you've got a fat on one leaf up to that fat, you're better off fattening all 3 leaves up to that same distance. So even though it's a mistake, they all look the same. It doesn't look as, shall we say, as deliberate.
Right.
Other than that, the saturation, the line work looks pretty good. There's a couple of little places, but definitely on the right, heading in the right direction.
For sure, man. Let's see what else we got here. This is kind of cool too. A little harder to read, but I think that it's might need some color, or maybe it needs a bit more black if it's going to be like black and skin tone, just to kind of separate some stuff. But from a distance, it looks good. I like the fake skin you're using. It looks like a decent quality. Excuse me. And the lines look pretty good. I mean, I'm sure obviously on fake skin, it's more of a flat surface kind of game. But hey, man, for starting there and moving, I like this. I like the line work. I like the various line weights, even though actually I take that back because I think this is all appears to be, could be wrong. This one all appears to be about the same size when it comes to line weight. But as far as lining goes, right, readability is a little lacking, but again, it's not complete as far as I'm aware. But man, line work looks good here. Looks good. Looks consistent.
It's not, because it says he's working on his shading detail. So kudos to you. Kudos to you if you're working on that.
Yeah.
You know, you're going on with your lines. So he's done the lining, and he's probably going to come back to it when he's figured his shading out or anything, instead of just totally wrecking the piece.
That's so smart.
That's a good way to work. It's a really good way to work, Doc. But yeah, I like this piece. I like how it goes. I like how crazy it is. The lines, the line weights, and are a lot better in this piece than some of the lines. The consistency for the lines and line weights in this is better in this piece than the previous one.
Yeah, I think so too.
And this is what we're saying. He seems to be figuring his line work out and getting there with his line work out, because the saturation seems to be there. He's now sort of like worked it out that he's got some nice flowing lines. There's a lot less hesitation. He's also worked out that instead of just stopping on a line, just flick it out, whip it out, it'll give it that nice point on the end instead of it just being a square blunt end.
Yeah.
And he's packing, and I think it's a good tactic that he's doing. That no, I'm not going to shade it until I figured it out. I'll come back to it. So that is a good tactic that he's playing there.
Yeah, it's a smart play. I mean, you're better off not trying to do it all. It's on fake skin. It's not like you even need the person to come back. It's right there. Work on those lines and then mess around with it. And you can always go back, and it's smart play here. Holy smokes, that's a bit busy, but man, what a great way to practice a bunch of things. I kind of really like this
tentacle.
This like cone with the tentacle. Is that what you're saying, Andy? From an octopus. That is cool. I really like that. And the background, all this dot stuff, I think it needs a little bit more time spent in them. Personally, I think that the dots are maybe a little large. I don't know. I feel like the dark areas could be a little more concentrated and whatnot. But I think that might also come down to some level of personal, I don't know what the words are. Just my thoughts, my personal opinions on that. But I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice piece. I mean, must have patience of a saint putting all them dots in there.
No doubt, man.
What I would have liked to have seen on this, and obviously if you zoom out a little bit, Dave.
Sure.
Round the tentacles, where the dot work comes right up to the ice cream cone and comes right up to the ice cream, may be nice if you left like a little consistent break of clear patch all the way around. It had just separated it that little bit more from it and brought your cone work and your tentacle work just that bit further forward than your dot work. And one other thing is, I don't know whether it's dot work or whether it's shading the ice cream cone, but
I think it's dots.
yeah, it does look like dots. But what I am going to say, that part is very one-tonal, like just under them creases there. Could have just had a little bit dark. He could have spent all that time doing all that work in the tentacle, getting his darks, his mediums, his lights.
Yeah.
He's done it in the dot work, getting his darks, his mediums, his lights. But in the cone, just around that top, he's only got a medium tone where he could have put a little bit of, didn't have to put any more lights in it, just put a little bit more dark in it, just give it a little bit more indie effect. But other than that, I mean, I'm looking at the tentacle, I'm looking at the line work, that big bold line down outside that's nice and even, pretty much around tentacles, and I know they're all different line weights, but it works. The top, where the lines around the smaller part of the tentacle, they're all even, they're all consistent. It's a nice finish, nice dot work. It's clean. That part of it's clean.
Yeah, I think it's quite clean. And Doc's like, yeah, there were pretty much in a nutshell, it sounds like there were a few things you wanted to do / change to make it more readable. But he said after 8 to 10 hours, it's like, nah, I'm done with it. And which is great because you can always come back to it. Obviously, you can't erase, but you can always add to and see things more from. But again, what you're doing on fake skin, the various things here, the lining, the dot work. I mean, those are great things to practice. Those are great, like, work on those fundamental things now. And then, like you said, you're going to be bringing in some shading and just having this real slow and steady, conscientious process is going to be beneficial in the long run. All the people we've seen like really put their heart and soul into fake skin and really work hard at it at that stage is definitely seeing gains as they progress, right? So they don't have to go back. It's a bit of front end work, but everything in life is the prep work and that front end work, that fake skin work that eventually will pay off. And so definitely keep at it. I like the line weights in this one here. Now we got a little bit more. So we got the thickness like around everything and then some thinner lines throughout. And obviously the smaller lines could be a little smoother. Sometimes I wouldn't even point that out, but seeing where you're at, we'll be a little pickier, you know? One thing is and it might just be me, but these lips are so black and the way this bumps up right here, it kind of feels like they got air in the top of her lip or something. Maybe it got away from you, but it does look like you're following the stencil. So I'm not sure. Maybe in the lip, you could have found like maybe where the highlight was in a photo or something and let that
a little void here.
Yeah. And that would have been just maybe enough there. But we live and learn.
Because it's like you said, but and I agree with that. What's freaking me out and what's looking a bit weird and freaky is you see where that fat line comes down off forehead, comes down in between the eyes and down the nose and then under the nose, and then it goes from a line weight fat, and as it comes down nose, it like tapers in, and then it comes fat under nose. When you zoom away from it, it's making that nose look a bit funky.
Yeah, it does. It looks like everything else. It looks like it's like detaching or like rolling. It
does. But don't get me wrong, the saturations there, some of this line works there. There's a couple of them again because we're just seeing that aren't quite as clean as what we're seeing on one of the other pieces. You know, e.g. that one that comes around the cheek and it's on this section of cheek, the curve on the cheek looks a little bit scratchy, just right in that edge of cheek. And there's a couple. Just watch. Don't get complacent with your line work. Your line work is the fundamentals and the backbone of your tattoo. So make sure they're starting the right place, they're finishing the right place, they're connecting the right place, they're as smooth as way you can be, and your saturation and your thickness of your heavier weight lines is correct, and you'll progress from there.
Doc was saying, I think that they said he should have, I think, ordered these properly, like in the right order, because it sounds like he's like, yeah, this was like an older one, and we probably, he said over here, where did he go?
Well, the thing is,
ordered these photos instead of rushing, right?
Yeah. Now, Smoke's put on there, hidden eye shouldn't have eyelashes. Now, looking at this face, I would say that eye, you would, with the length of the eyelashes on this eye that we can see, yes, you would see the
A little bit of
eyelashes.
them.
Yes, you would, in my eyes, because they look like false eyelashes and really long, that you would just see the last little bit. So I would fairly agree that seeing these eyelashes on here, in my opinion, looks better than them not having it on.
Yep. I think overall, though, I mean, it's not bad. You know, it's not bad at all. It's looking good. It's just we've seen some of the other ones and we're like, dang, I like this. I really
Now
do.
this one's very.
Yeah,
You
this
just
is
switch up on screen and it's like, boom, it's your face.
Yeah.
It's got a big impact as this one.
This is bold. I mean, they're all bold. Let's face it. I mean, that's what you're doing, but it's clean. Even these whiskers.
Yep.
Boom, nice out there, pointy ends, no blobs really at the edges. The black is solid. The line weight's good. Even this little bit of lineage and a little whip at the end of the lines there for up the handle. Nice detail in these circles. Took his time, left a little open. I mean, this is a banger, man.
This is nice. I mean, I'm looking at the lines at the top of the ears that come out to the top of the ears. They're both like as nigh on symmetrical. They're both even. The curve down, the filling into the ears, and this has got so many good points to it that if you zoom away from it a little bit, Dave, if you like that there, bang, you can see. As soon as your eyes pick up on this, you know exactly what it is. I mean, just under the handle of the dagger, the two lines coming out from the hilt into the symmetrical, they're even, you know, in thing. You look at the cheeks as it comes round, they come round in certain curve down into the jaw. This is nicely done. This you can't take it away from this. This is nicely done. It's impactful, and it's there. It's in your face, and yeah. What else can you say?
I know that's kind of where I was at too. I'm like, yeah, this is nice. And he did say this is, and of course, this is the most recent one. You know. And it makes sense. I mean, it looks like it's the most recent one. It looks super nice, which again, I mean, nice job, dog. I mean, nice job, man. Really, really cool. Clean. Just clean, man. Just clean.
I mean, Doc's asked any recommendation from stencil properly. Right, you can bleach it, but what you can do, if you want to clean your piece down and clean it down more, and I've said it numerous times, and I'm going to say it again, you clean your fake skins down with baby oil. You can put a little bit on, rub it in with your fingers, wipe it off, put a bit on shop rag, rub it on, get a clean piece, wipe it off. It will clean it up. Don't matter what fake skin it's on or what you're using, it will clean it up 99.9%.
So baby oil will clean the ink off the skin, correct? Real good?
Yeah, it does take a lot of the carbon down. It just doesn't seem to get that last bit of, that tiny bit of purple off. And I understand what he's thinking. Oh, if we put it in bleach, it's going to bleach the ink. It's going to make it look lighter.
It won't. I've never had that problem.
What's that, Andy? Would Johnson's baby oil work? Yes, it will. It will. You can put it on. You can rub it in with your fingers, wipe it off. You can put it on a shop rag, wipe it on. Just have a dry piece of shop rag then to wipe it off after. And it's like I said, I've not found any of the fit skins, and I've tried everything from the shite to the decent, and it's brought off everything.
Yeah, and then when it comes to actually getting the purple, the stubborn purple stencil, if it won't go away from all those things, legitimately, I use one of my wife's like cooking pans. It's like this shallow. I lay the fake skin in there and I pour bleach on top and I just let it submerge in that. I just leave it there overnight, come back the next day and all the purple's gone, rinse it all out, dump the bleach, and you're good to go. It hasn't no problems with the work at all.
Just a quick one. Shane, coconut oil works well. Yep. At you later. But yeah, I use cheapest baby oil. You could even try using it seems to be that any type of oil, whether it be coconut oil, baby oil, or whatever, seems to work. I just use baby oil because that's just some cheap ass baby oil. You know what I mean? And I just found that worked better for me.
Right.
But yeah, if coconut oil, I can see that working for definite.
Archuleta said WD-40. I bet WD-40 would probably.
I bet it
works.
What
brake cleaner would do. That stuff for. Oh, here. Speaking of Archuleta, here we go. Okay, dokie. Another practice piece on fake skin, cat eye. I can tell from here, it looking banging. And some live skin this time, right on.
About
Using
time.
a bug pin 3-round liner, a bug pin 5-round liner, specifically number 10 bug pins, black, and one lighter wash for inside lines and shading. As extra close up of line work, unedited, the lines were connected later on, Andy. I've checked few times. At the end, she started bleeding more. Does that mean the blood is slowly getting enough?
The
Does that make
body.
sense? What is
The
that?
body is slow.
Oh,
Right.
it helps if I could read, right? At the end, she started bleeding more. Does that mean the body is slowly getting
Right.
enough?
There's
Eh,
there's a lot of things to that.
yeah. Also, give me a tip how to wipe the ink. I'm dabbing mostly as it doesn't hurt as much, right? And when wiping with damp paper towel, if the skin is even a tiny bit wet, the ink does not probably want to go in. Yeah, I mean that's
Right.
the thing. I usually have part wet, part dry, so I'll wipe, and then you can always take that drier part and dry. Make sure that there's no moisture on the skin there. Um,
There's
Go
I
ahead,
can see
Andy.
a lot. I can see quite a few things going on here. Um, per se with what she's doing and how she's explained it. I can see a couple of things and a couple of reasons for stuff going on, but we'll come to that as we go through it. I mean, best thing to do is start going through it, Dave, and then we can address. It's like the bleeding. There's a few reasons for that, which I can address for you.
Yeah.
And the ink, the dabbing, this, that, and other, we can address that for you as well. But if we want to go through a work and that
Yeah.
first, Dave, it's up to you.
Sure. You go ahead, Andy. You can address the bleed. That's what you want to address, right? The bleeding
You
and
bleed. You're bleeding. You've got a few things. One, I don't know how long your client's been sat there, because what you'll find is with some clients, not all clients, with some clients, and I've had it a fair few times. If they've been there and they've been there a while, and they've not had some breaks or they've not had fluids, they've not, or they're starting to get themselves worked up or feeling a bit sore. What initially happens is, and there's nothing you can do about this, just on some people, their blood pressure will naturally rise and raise up. At which point you are as you're tattooing, you're basically creating a wound. So as their blood pressure raises up, pumping more blood round, they are more likely to bleed on you, and that's one reason that they will. A second reason is the skin's getting a bit irritated. The skin's telling you, "I've had enough," or that, and it's time to get in, get out, get it done. Or if it's a big piece and you're nowhere near finished, just reschedule it. I mean, it was 3 hours. It was 3 hours with breaks. That's fine. But what you got to remember is, in 3 hours, I don't know how many breaks you give her. You don't know what sort of pain she's going through unless she's told you. This person's told you. Being uncomfy, being in an awkward position can all relate to elevated blood pressure, being nervous, being on edge, this, that, and other. And that's one of the main reasons. Just going into the skin too many times in one area, you start to chew it up. Once you start to chew it up, or you run your machine a little bit too fast with such a finer needle, then you're creating, as if you're doing it with a scalpel, you may get a bit more bleeding. Instead of just stitching, and it being a series of dots, your machine's running that fast, but you're on so slow, it's like this, and you're just creating one long cut as if it's done with a scalpel. So there are a few things. And what's the other one? Give me a tip on wipe the ink. I'm dabbing mostly, which I do. I don't know about you, Dave.
Yeah.
I dab mostly.
I dab in the beginning, and then I go as quickly as possible. Once that fades away, I'll start doing some dry wipes, but then I'll go to a damp paper towel, not a wet paper towel, damp, very damp.
Yeah, I mean, what's that? She was definitely in an awkward position at some point. I was sitting on the floor. We were trying everything. I mean, I don't even know why you're sitting on the floor. You shouldn't be sitting on the floor. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be tattooing somebody sat on the floor. I mean, you should get them on the bed, get the bed up to a right height where you can lower your chair, get yourself tucked in, get them laid out, move the leg round, and if you're sitting awkward, you see if she's sitting awkward and her leg's bent backwards and you're restricting blood flow, then she puts it out, then all of a sudden you're getting more blood flow through it. It's your knee joint acts a bit like a tourniquet type thing.
Yeah, and fighting those twitches, I mean, you got the calf is one of those spots where the twitches can be uncontrollable sometimes by the client. I mean, the best I can do is just apply pressure, right? So you're kind of almost fighting against them. So stretching both ways, pushing on that spot as you run that line. And you can try to mitigate the twitching that way. That's what I do when I do legs, when I do certain areas. You can tell someone's going to twitch is I'll push pressure. I know that they might feel that I'm really pushing on them, but I think they'll be happier at the end because that line come out cleaner because the tattoo overall is a little bit cleaner. So anyhow, but let's get into the work here.
Yeah.
All right. So again, we got our coin there to reference the size, which is good sometimes because in photos, I mean, that can look this big, you never know, but it's relatively on the smaller side. And let's take a look here. Yeah, I think that you definitely get the effect here. I've never really done a close-up of an eye. I've never tattooed an eye like this, but I think it looks good. Yeah, I think you got enough black in there, especially from a distance. It definitely has that sort of wet look that you'd be going for. I mean, Andy, I don't really have much to say about it. I think it looks quite nice.
I mean,
it definitely shows that she knows what she's doing on fake skin, which is cool.
Yeah, she knows her artwork. She knows what she's doing on fake skin. It's a micro piece, is this, because that's pound coin. I mean, that pound coin is less than an inch in diameter. Is that?
Wow.
So it's a micro piece, and it is what it is. It's a nice piece.
Yeah.
Done on fake skin. Yeah.
Let's check out the next one. Padam. Okay, so this is the piece you did the other day. I saw it on IG. I liked it. Good work, but let's take a look at it here. I don't want to get too far zoomed in. We'll get a little bit. This is already relatively zoomed in. Is there another photo that... Oh, here we go. Okay, we'll look at it like this. Then we can zoom in regularly, and we'll go back to the other piece. Just as a whole, I want to talk about as a whole. I think you did a nice job, because especially considering how dainty it is. But if we're going to jump in here and talk about it, let's jump in here and talk about it. So obviously the main lines running through here are where we see our eye catches any sort of choppiness. And that's kind of what my eye catches right here. Anytime we get these little spots, the eye tends to catch those. You see them up here. Here, obviously, you're not laying that needle in and running one smooth consecutive line. In and out, and that might be you fighting those twitches. That twitch might come, you might pull that hand off, and you're trying to battle it as you go. I don't know. I'd be curious. I think you did say what line weight she used. I'm going to take a look at that real quick.
05.
Above pin 5. Okay.
Above pin 5.
I think you would have probably been better off personally for these main stems here to maybe just run a standard 5, because you would have gotten a little bit more consistency, I think, running through them, because the sharper that needle is, I think the more delicate you have to be, and makes it a little harder, in my opinion, running those really long lines, which this is relatively long consideration to where you're at. So maybe run a 12 5-round liner, and you would have gotten somewhere in this thickness consistently throughout, and then maybe save that smaller liner for some other stuff, because you could tell when it's closer together here, those lines look a little bit better. Plus, that 5-round liner probably would have given you a little bit more ease when it came to running these dots. The shading on the inside is not bad. It definitely looks good from here, and I'm sure when it heals out, it'll soften even more. Dots are pretty consistent. Again, we are zoomed in pretty far. But other than that, I would say it's just going to come with time, is figuring out the right needle choice.
Yeah.
And maybe just, I see you went from number 0.8 bug pins to 10 bug pins. And I definitely think they're all tools, they're all paintbrushes, but try dabbling in maybe some just standard needle groupings. Because what happens is when you're using really tiny needles, the skin doesn't really resist that as well. So you can't feel the skin as much. It's more of a faith and understanding game. But when you use a slightly larger needle or a standard size needles, you get a little bit more pushback. You get a little bit more like vibration in the skin. You can feel when you hit that sweet spot over time, and then you'll run that a little bit more smoothly. So I think sometimes finding the right needle that gives you the right pushback for longer lines is something to think about. But anyhow, Andy, I will pass it off to you.
Yeah,
Let me know where you
mean,
want me to move this around to and whatnot.
I mean, it's like you're saying, you say you standard 5. I mean, you could get that, to be fair, you could get that line with, you could get that line weight with a standard 7. And you know what I mean, use it tip of it, just use it tip at right angle, you could get that line weight at a standard 7. The other thing I would say, and I've found just over time, and I'm either going to get, well, people are either going to say, yeah, you can do that, no, you can't. Fine lines like that, and I've only adopted it lately, and I've spoke to you about it. I've found that I get, with a fine line, I get such a better result dragging, pulling back on the needle rather than coming forward on the needle. And I just found out it just works out. And just lay it backwards, slightly to the side, and I can put my hand down and I can just bring it round smoother, pulling backwards, rather than trying to push it, round, just to get it. And like you say, because she's using such a small needle grouping, you can just see, like on the bottom line, on the single, I don't know whether it's a pick up and put down, and it's just slightly bypassed, but it shows, it just shows in there. But that's the problem that is the unfortunate problem with using such a fine liner,
Yeah,
to do everything.
Yep, and it's good. Are you? And one of these days I'll remember it. Is it Casa? I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Is it Cassia? Is it Cassia? Cassia.
I've asked like 5 times and a million times.
One
One of these days in a year or two, I'll remember the name. But yeah, she likes to pull Cassia.
Yeah.
God, Cassia. She likes to pull the lines, just like you were saying, or not pull, but drag. Whereas for me, I love to push. I'm always pushing the lines, unless it's like a cylinder type thing. Like, let's say like an oval, I might start by dragging and then come around and then push. But yeah, it's cool. I like this stuff because we all do things differently and we can share the different ways. And then somebody else can come along and pick up, try the different things. And so again, this was a similar.
We could have a full debate on a Thursday or whatever it is on whether to push or pull.
Right.
Push a line, pull a line, drag a line, dot a line.
So true, man. So true. I really, like I said, I love pushing lines.
Yeah.
I feel like I have more control. I can see where I'm going by dragging. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I gotta look underneath my hand. But that's all personal preference. Trying both. What's going on, Dave and Andy? Got a new piece for you guys. Let me know what you think. This is from Sean LeSean. Okay. Let's get in here and take a look. See. All right.
There's 1 minute.
What's up?
Oh yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, you've got to take note of the boss lady as well. She's bang on right.
Yeah. She's around tattooing all the time, all the stinking time. She hears it. She knows it's very important.
Honestly,
if you don't get that, that bounce.
There's no more truer word than what's said there.
Well, Andy, I think you're getting a little away from yourself, exaggerating a little bit. No more truer words. Don't fill her ego like that. All right. I'm just kidding, Andy.
Why? Because she'll only
You're
remember about
absolutely
steak.
right.
She'll only remind you about steak and lobster, Dave.
Okay, back to work here. So, I think the lining looks pretty good on this, actually. I think the lining is probably my favorite part of this piece here. Everywhere I look, like if we look through here, around, most of these lines, even you drop into a smaller line right here, all looks pretty good. I guess for me, it's just a little too busy. I don't know. The shading feels very textured, almost textured to a point where it gets a little blurry. You know what I mean? Like these are all sort of different, various shaded dots. It looks like, and I don't know. If it weren't for the white in there, it would probably really become just super muddy. So that's going to be my main thing here. Is I think we might want to. I'm not really sure, Andy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Because I'm just feeling it's getting a
there's
little muddy.
there's a lot of detail to the point that it's over detailed and it's starting to blur. You know, you start to blur into itself. Like you said, Dave, there's a lot of texture. There's a lot of texture being put in there, and not a great deal of space left for it to breathe, if that's the right word. There's again, this feels like one of them pieces where somebody said, "Oh, you wanted a tattoo, right? I'm going to give you a tattoo. It's X amount of hundreds of dollars or whatever it is. So I've got to cover every single square inch of that tattoo with ink." And no, you've got to leave some open space or some really, really light tones for it to breathe. And I think this is where that falters myself. It's
and if you're gonna do this, I think Kane hit the head on a nail on the head there. I was thinking the same thing. Now there's plenty of dark here, but if you're going to fill this much area, we need more contrast. And obviously you can't erase, so you add this whole area right here, black. Back here, more black. Around here, more black. So now we need to make these spots pop more. And how do you do that? Not by adding more white, by adding more black, and that contrasts those colors more. That's going to make it pop forward. That's going to make the face, the forehead, and all that become more focal and push what's already back here a little bit further. I mean, you kind of have it, but more black.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to learn that sometimes too. When a lot of times when I take a photo, we're about 90% done. I'm looking at it. I'm like, dang it. All that stuff I took time to make sure I tone. It actually just needs to be black because overall it's going to make the piece pop more. So, yeah.
Right. I agree with you. And like you said, it's just a little bit lost in translation is this one.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, less is more sometimes. You do need
hard to know.
You do need them breaks. You do need them open bits, and that. I think you have to put Boss Lady's put another one up, and she's true again, Dave. You tell you she's been hanging around you too long, and that. But yeah, it's just a bit too dark, a bit too rich.
Yeah, I love the texturing though. I mean, I like
the texturing is brilliant.
The line works good. There's a lot of good things here, even though we're saying so much about it. It's just, I mean, it's a nice piece. It just, you got to get a little more contrast out of it.
This style, if LaShawn could hone in on this, do you know what style this reminds me of?
Who's that?
This reminds me a bit along the lines of Mr. Reyes.
Because of all the texturing going on.
Because of all the texturing, the covering up. If he could just figure out his tones, his shades, and everything, and he's packing ink like this had been a blister. I'm not saying that it won't be in it, but it'd have been a blistering tattoo to cover some up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this would work really good.
Like
so much texture.
Yeah.
An older tattoo back there. Definitely. But hey, man, thanks for sending that in, LaShawn. Looking good, man. Just take our opinions if you want them, leave them if you don't. That's exactly what they are, opinions. Elisa, hey guys, sorry I missed you last weekend, but here's a few more pieces. Thanks for any info. All right. We'll start here. Okay. Oof. Little rough, a little rough. Yeah, some of these, see how red that is? Now, it's not
Yeah.
abnormal for a tattoo to be red around the outside, but there's no real red down here per se, and this is quite red. And you see that line is a bit drilled. I mean, it's drilled. Even some of these lines down here drilled, a little bit drilled. Most of these lines are, some of them aren't too bad, but I do like the contrast. I'll give you that. Like this dark down here next to this light bit of open. We get some separation via a little bit of shading, but you got to work on fine tuning that hand speed to
Yeah.
voltage. It seems like it's a little out of there.
Yeah. A couple of little places that look be overworked, don't they? Especially, I don't know whether it's a horn that goes round and it goes round like that. That back line on it looks I'll be honest, looks super overworked.
Yeah.
On that, and you can see with how red it is and round the back. But it's not a bad little piece, and that just got to work. Just be careful on your voltage and your hand speed. And your voltage and your hand speed will also go along with your needle choice as well. Quite simple.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're running 7.5 volts on an 11 round liner, 14 round shader, you don't need that on a 3 round liner. My God, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to back it off a little bit. It's too much.
Yeah, it'd be like running a razor blade through somebody.
Yeah. Yes, sir, it is. Let's see what we got next. Okay, so what is this? This is on a calf, the back of a calf. And that's as far in as we can go. Readability is a little difficult. And I feel like I'm missing a leg. I know it's this one right here. But does it feel like that one's missing or look like it's missing? I think
too close to that section
web. That webbed line, huh?
Yeah.
Kind of blends in and becomes one there. Also, I think this one would pop more if it was, and you hear this so much, and somebody said it too. The biggest things are, and again, I'm teaching myself to over and over, it needs more black, especially up here. I mean, just pack that in there, find a little bit of an area to leave some open areas, which you did, just a little bit more dark. It's going to make that spider look a little stronger. Same in the legs, darken them up a little bit, leave a little open spot, maybe pop a highlight in there. That would help it out a little bit, and then continue to work with these lines because we get some depth things going on, but it's not bad considering how many lines are there.
No. Plus, it's a cobweb. You're going to get away with a little bit because it's a cobweb. Like we said to people before, organic shapes, flowers, this, that, and other. You can get away with having a bit wobbly lines here and there because they are organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with a cobweb. But when you look at it from a tattooing point of view, those have issues. Pick ups and put downs, missed a line just out left hand side, and you can see either nervousness or hesitation marks, as they're coming, through this.
Yeah,
just need to work on them lines.
Definitely. Let's let's see what we got. All right, I can't zoom in on this at all. Yeah, I cannot zoom in on this.
Well, it's about that big on my screen.
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to be able to say much, but it looks like it might be praying hands. Yeah. All right. Well, I can't say much. I couldn't really see it too well, and we can't zoom in on it. So unfortunately, I can't really comment on it, Lisa. Sorry. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a type of photo or whatnot, but sometimes they can be hard to see. So anyhow, let's move on to Josh. Josh is up next. He said, Josh Willis, hey there, got these real skins, still working on completely filling in.
Right. I'm going to make a pit stop.
Man. Yeah. Go ahead. I will be not far behind you there. All right. Let's see here. We're checking some stuff out. Bam. All right. Lisa says, sorry, Dave. I was worried about that not being readable. No problem. Send it in next week. We'll give you an honest opinion. Again, they're just opinions, guys. We're just a couple people with a couple opinions. Take it or leave it. There's no, you know, obviously, it doesn't really mean anything other than what it. Anyhow, being a dead horse here. Okay, so I'm going to look at both of these real quick. Okay, we'll start here. Obviously, the fake skin you're using is a difficult fake skin to use. That's just straight up and honest. It's gonna fight you. It's very thin, and remember, it's always important to kind of put some sort of soft backing behind these fake skins because if you're tattooing that on like a hard surface, it's gonna feel like it's gonna be rough, right? It's gonna be rough on you, rough on the machine. It's not gonna give you any sort of realistic feel. So definitely put something soft under there and then and do it that way. Um, Also, I can tell you got a lot of practicing to do. There's no disrespect by that. It's just not a lot of this is consistent. We want to try to get consistent lines in our fake skin. So I wouldn't worry so much about doing a piece because this piece is a bit larger. You're better off to just spend your time and do smaller things, simpler things. I mean, luckily this isn't out crazy or anything out of there, but focus in on smaller pieces that you can execute and really take your time. So if it goes badly, you can stencil that same piece like 4 times in an area, right? And then you can work on it, finish it, render it, go, okay, I see what I did here. Let me try to do it again. Can I smooth these lines out more? Can I fine tune my operation, right? That's going to help you out because these lines need some work. All right. And so we're still working on our line work. I think this is a better fake skin. But the fills in this, the black in here is really scratchy. It's really unsaturated and it's got a lot of openings in it. So around all these little edges here on the letters, it's not up to the line. These are the things we want to focus on. We want to practice, especially when you're on the fake skin. You have plenty of time. No one's there to say, are we done yet? How much longer? Take your time, fill it right. Even inside these areas, it's very light. So you can see where it's dark, you can see where it's open. You can even see in your lining where it's just missing, right? These are all the things you want to look for when you're practicing. These lines aren't quite consistent. I do like that you have a smoothness in some of these, right? They're smooth as in, you're getting them in a single pass or whatnot, but they're not quite saturated properly, nor is the black. So I would definitely just slow it down. Use a good fake skin, do smaller pieces, work on those lines, get them as crisp as you can, and roll from there. So yeah, let's see. Appreciate it, Josh. So thanks for sending those in. We will see some more next week and be able to work more on that. Next up is Henry. Henry says, "Hey, my brother, coming to me." Have my brother coming to me about fixing this tattoo. First time ever fixing something. I think I did pretty good, but how can I improve my shading or my lines? All right, so this guy's looking for improvements on shading. Okay. All right, wait, hold on a second. Is this the piece he's trying to fix? Coming about fixing this tattoo for the first time ever fixing something. All right, first time ever fixing something. I'm hoping this is the tattoo you're going to fix. Okay, so I'm so confused. All right, so this must be the piece. He came to you. Yeah, this is what you did to it, I'm guessing, to fix it. All right, I'm laying it out for you, Andy, because I got to use the restroom real quick.
Yeah, it's
coming to me about his tattoo. I think I did pretty good. Okay, so he wants to know how can I improve on my shading or my lines or whatnot. Now, you let me know, Andy, which.
Because obviously I've seen the first one.
Yeah, right
what I'll say, it's.
I'll be right back, Andy.
It's definitely been improved from what it was, because obviously originally it was terrible. But I think what you should have done, yes, you've cleaned the lines up, but I think you should have messed around with line weights as well. Maybe on the outside of this, gone with a lot, jumped up another line weight, even gone to 9-round shader around the outside of it, and especially the line that goes through it could have been just cleaned up. I think if it were me and I'd have tackled this, see where you've gone with the black in the corners, then I would also try to add some more lighter tones of shading and use some white highlighting. If not, I would have probably gone with, and I don't use a lot of black and grey myself. I use a lot of true tone greys. It's full pigment, and I'd have probably worked it out so that it ended up, yes, it was black and grey, but I'd have probably used full pigment to do a lot of it completely. You need to work on smoothing as you're shading out and you start from your super dark. You've got to realize you work out from your super dark, and then as you go out, lighten your stroke and just feather it out and just brush the skin to get that in and work it in, and then just brush it, just edge it out. And what you need to do is, if you're going to work in black and greys, and Dave worked more in black and greys, is to have your black, but then have some lighter tones made up, either a 50% and a 20%, and then dilute it down with water, and start from black, just whip it out a little bit, lighter tone, and a little bit lighter tone, just to smooth that out. I think you could have got away with putting a little bit more shading in it, which would have helped, especially in some of the opposite corners, using a lighter tone. I think you could have got away with putting some more shading in it to help hide the lines. And I know that you haven't initially done this, but I think that's it per se, is get where the black should be black, get them in, and then just lightly brush your tones out. But also try work with, like you do, Dave, some grey washes, because it all looks like it's been done with black, basically. And
yeah,
for as much as it's been sharpened up and it's been made better, it's still been left quite basic. Whereas I've just said to him myself, because I work in true tone greys, that I would have probably, if it was me, I would have used true tone, but I would have probably filled it in as using the true tones like I was doing a colour piece, to be fair.
Yeah, and if he's going to use washes, then you're better off dropping down to like a 2 or 5 or even something, and just blending that out a little bit more. But
yeah,
I don't really do a lot of diamonds. This was shaded in a very kind of like basic-ish way. Huge improvement. Obviously, I'm sure we've already noted that.
yeah.
And on a side note, Andy, I did my first opaque gray piece.
Right. Stop right there. Stop right there.
Oh no.
True tone, depending on where you are, which artist, where you are, true tone and opaques are the same thing.
They are the same, right?
They are the same. I've done my homework. I've done my research. I spent hours on the internet. You go on. All you've got to do is go into Google and put in true grey tattoo. You will see it all come down, and you will see all the literature, and it will tell you true tones and opaques, basically the same.
Oh, nice. Good to know. I like them, and I like them a lot. I know I went to that whitewash style of tones, and I think that really prepped me for rolling right into true grays. Little bit more messy, just a little bit more wiping going on, but I do like it though. I like the overall look. It has more of like a buttery, like I don't know, creamy sort of smoothness to it. It's different than the washes. And like I said, I only used it in that cat I did recently. And I look forward to using it more moving forward. I will have to go back and forth between wash and that, because some long-term pieces I'm working on have the wash in it, and I don't want to mix that up with the trues. So
because especially here in UK, you have grey washes, which is your black's diluted down. Then you have, they'll either call it a grey wash or a white wash, which is black with white in it, and then with distilled water, and basically diluted down to, a wash.
Right.
And then you will have true greys or opaques, both the same, which is full pigment. There's no water in it. There's no wash in it. It is true pigment all the way out. Your base tone is white, and then you just tint it out with bits of black, and you just go that way through. Mary, Jason, looked into it myself. Yeah, after the other comment the other night, I went down it, and I spent about an hour and a half researching it myself.
I love it, man. We got to make that needs to be a full-on topic for one of your streams, one of your lives.
I mean, it's like I said,
settle the controversy of what is what and what is opaque. And I remember even when I was doing that. So what I used to do is called whitewash. Then, Andy, is that like whitewashing where you have black, add white, and then add water?
Yeah, that's over here. They do Empire. Now, if you go on and look at,
I don't know that the legitimate names of these. Isn't it funny we do all this stuff, but we're like, what is this stuff legitimately called?
Now, if you go look at Empire inks, and you put in whitewash, it is blacks and whites diluted down, same as a grey wash to give. They call it a whitewash, grey wash, whatever, but it's black and white mixed together.
Watered down.
But then diluted down with distilled water. Your grey wash, which we all know is just blacks diluted down.
Right.
And then you have true greys or opaques. They are the same thing. They are full pigment, no water, no dilution. It's base tone white, tinted out with drops of black. And like we said, we did say last Thursday over on my channel, anybody wants any topics, just to leave them, for us to address, leave them in comments. Because unfortunately, there's no point in leaving them in the comments on the critiques, because we just need them in comments on the topics, the Q&As, and any topics that over on my channel that you want us to talk about on there. And we're more than happy to sit there and flap his lips for an hour and a half.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many people were telling me how that the whitewash was opaque, and I just kept bouncing my head off a wall. It's not opaque, guys. It's watered down. Okay, it's a wash. No, it's opaque. No. So anyhow, we would love to go into it and have fun talking about it. Next up is Soft Day. I'm gonna call you Soft, man. I'm sorry. That's not a negative thing. All right, here we go. From here, oh man, let's see what we got. Looking pretty good, those lines from back here. But let's see what happens when we get a little bit closer. Okay. Yeah, all right. So a lot of these lines are pretty nice. A lot of them are, all right. There's a few, where this one stands out a lot to me. There are a few other ones that stand out, but a lot of these lines are pretty decent. So I think that just more time is going to improve your line work. It's just stay consistent. Try to get each one of those lines as clean as you can, and over time they will improve if you keep trying and don't get a bit busy and trying to rush through things. Stay slow and steady. The downside here is going to be all the shading. In my personal opinion, it just has no depth to it. Even if you want to keep this open and airy, you could still add a little bit more depth down here, a little bit more, darkness to give it a little bit more feel. And these leaves kind of have that zebra effect, and I don't think they're really aiding in the overall aesthetic of the tattoo. Again, this is all coming down from a personal opinion. Even some of the shading here doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, where the two leaves are overlapping, this one is the lightest spot. It would probably be the darker spot. I get some of these tattoos, the shading isn't always like 100% realistic as far as the light source is here and everything's gonna be shaded differently from off that light source. That's the beauty of tattooing sometimes. But anyhow, Andy, that's pretty much my thoughts in a nutshell on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much a lot of the lines on the flowers seem to be pretty much there. I can see some, shall we say, either hesitation, nervousness in a few of the lines because they're a bit, where you've either overreaching your hand, to try to finish that line instead of stopping, repositioning and coming round. Where the lines seem to be the worst is on the bigger leaves. They seem to look like they've had a couple of goes over them as if they wanted to fatten the line weights up. And instead of just picking a bigger liner, and going with that.
Yeah.
It looks like they've gone round it a few times. But yes, The shading, there's no depth in the shading. The shading's barely there. The leaves, they just look like V's, black V's coming out of the centre of the leaves, and they just go from black to black and finish
right
with some dots. There's no depth. And then I understand that you probably want to keep the flowers light and airy, but just in the backs where you started, could have been a little bit darker and whipped them out to a little bit lighter, just to give you a bit more depth within this tattoo. But where I would say, I mean, that's fine, but just watch some of your line work. Some of the line work on this, you can see some of the pickups, the put downs, they're just not quite got it, or whether they've gone around the line and then they've gone back into, because the line's not being fully saturated, they've gone back in to saturate the line again, and it's come out a different line weight, in odd places. These are the things you've got to watch for. I mean, that top flower, left-hand side of that top flower, you can just see top petal as there, just to the left a little bit, Dave. Just there, you can just see how fat that line is in comparison, where it's been gone over twice with the look of it. So you've just got to be in some of these lines. Some of these darker lines are on the edge of a blowout, in my opinion.
Yeah, and one of the things that you really want to try see over here, this little gap right here, that's going to drive personally me crazy, because you really want to get that shading right up to the line, because that just shows rush to me, and I've done it. I do it. It still happens. You can't find every little thing every single time in every tattoo, but little things, what you want to do your best to try to pick up on, because enough little things add up to either equate to a bad tattoo, or enough little things add up to equate to a great tattoo. And I've found that enough little good things will be good, and same the other way. So it's pretty much the same we've already said. And yeah, man, just keep at it, and take what we have to say and keep it or throw it away. It looks like we are going to have an early night tonight, Andy. We got just a few more to go through. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who's here this evening. We got a smaller crowd tonight, but hey, I prefer it at times though. All right, Tyler is up next. Hey, Dave and Andy, here is my most recent work. I've attached 2 pictures, one of just the outline so that you can critique the line work. Wow, cool. Good on you, man. In a second picture of the shading, finished work, thanks. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow, man, from here, that is just banging.
That looks super crispy from here. And do you know what I like about this guy? From the off, here's one of my line work. Do your best. Have a look. Take a look at it. Here's one of my picture. He's put himself out there. Here it is. This is how I do it.
Yeah.
I really want you to critique my work and be honest. And I'm not going to try hide anything with you, from sending you a complete piece that's shaded in off lines and this, that, and other. This is how I have gone through this piece. So yeah. And from the off, I'm with you, Dave. God damn, this looks like crispy clean sticker.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, man. We can zoom in on it, but I mean, that's beautiful.
I mean, I won't really go. I mean, even at that, Dave, it's crispy, it's clean. The line weights. Look at that top lip. Look how crisp that small arched line is over that top lip.
It's really, really nice, man. Really nice. I would love.
If Jeremy were in here, if Jeremy's still in here, the only thing I would have said, it would have been nice to just sharpen them eyelashes off a little bit on the end.
Yeah. No, that inside joke for people who are here on the regular.
Yeah.
Okay, then they add some shading. Cool. And you know what? It's like a simplistic thing. Get over the top crazy with it. I don't mind it. I just feel like, I don't know.
I still feel like
it's a little bit. I feel like it needs a bit, I don't know, more separation. I keep moving in and out. I'm sorry, but maybe a little more black. Fill these leaves a little bit more, maybe, so that the flower pops off the leaves a bit more as far as that goes. And maybe a little bit more depth in some of the shading. It's not bad. It's just very minimal. and I feel like it
Yeah,
could
I mean,
have done more.
it's for me. It looks unfinished. It's like you look at the lips, Dave, where they're shaded out. For me, that should have been. Yes, you just beat me to that, Mike. It
That might
should have
have been
been
what it needed, really. Yeah.
solid black, and then it could have been shaded out. Same again, like you said, solid black. The center of that flower isn't quite. One of them flowers isn't quite solid black. There's a few holidays in it. It just looks unfinished. I agree with Mike. This hair would have been nice to have some shading in it, even if it's just in the low parts, just to give it a bit of flow and a little bit. Doesn't have to be fully done. Yes, rape start, the line work, we agree, super clean.
Definitely.
Just think that for the finish, for the shading and the finish, this could have been taken so much further. E.g., it could have had some solid blacks and then whipped out, especially under this chin as well, Dave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Could have
that
been
chin,
solid
yes.
black.
Could have applied so much depth right there.
Yeah, and then dropped it out. Didn't have to come out. It didn't even have to come all the way to the front line. You see, I always left that little open space, that little skin break between the line and the shading. It could have done some black and left that black line in, and then on the hair, halfway or even just on the outside, it could have done a bit of shading and whipped it in, but not gone all the way to the line. It feels like you've done a bit on the flowers, bit on the leaves, a little bit on the headband, a little bit on the things. Not done anything with the hair. It just looks unfinished.
Yeah, and I think that's what it needs to push things, push the flowers forward, the face more focal is the black in the hair, and then the proper few openings in said hair to give it its movement, if you will. But you can always go back and add that, Tyler. So far, man, that line work is crispy, bro. So nice. All right. Been a bit busy, but still trying to improve each piece I attempt doing. And this is from Anonymous. Let's see what we got, man. All right. On the fake skin. Hey, you're still pushing it through using this skin. I give you credit for, fighting the good fight. I'll start here at the bottom. I think the lining in this A is pretty good, pretty consistent throughout here. Not too bad. The shading, shading fake skin, this particular fake skin is such a headache anyhow. So we'll critique it, but understand that if you tried a better quality of fake skin, you're going to see an improvement in your shading because the medium at this level is definitely hindering you. I'm not sure. Maybe you know this reference more than me, Andy. I don't really know what's going on with all these lines over the face here.
I have the thing, but you can see where the fake skin is holding him back. Where these blacks aren't going in, the colours aren't going in smooth. And you look at some of the line work. You look at the line work that is built up around that A in the circle at the bottom, and because it's a fatter line and he's been there to work it in and build it up. But like the single pass lines, they're not quite there, Dave, are they? You know what I mean? But I think it's not that they look hesitant and they look like there's not it looks like that the skin, the medium that he's working on, is not just absorbing the ink that he's trying to put in, and he's having to go over and over and over it, to get it to look something like, in my opinion. And it's just, this piece has just fallen a little bit short. But one, I can still see, I don't know whether it's ink on it, blobs of ink on it, whether it's not being cleaned off or whatever. So that's throwing it a little bit. But yeah, and stuff, the shading, again, but for the skin, it's not smooth. The shading's not smooth. The packing in areas where it should have been solid black, it's not saturated. And that's, like I said, that could be the actual fake skin itself.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's the biggest thing there is I just think they're going to have so much better success because, I've seen the line work here. It's looking good. Some of these black fills up here, it looks like got a little bit harder. Maybe it was more area to cover. Some of the lines didn't quite get packed in there. But yeah, definitely, man, a better quality fake skin, you might really, really see a huge difference. All right, and hey, this is cool from the thumbnail anyhow. Oh, and then they put it on skin. Okay, all right, let's see what happens. Andy, the person's name's Andy. Cool. Hey everyone, I'm venturing into some portraits. I just did a drawing, then stencil, then skin. I like that process. I did it large, so had to do 3-part view. Can't wait till healed. The white is a little pink, fresh, but I used the dynamic white. I'm sure there's lots to improve on, but the client is a repeat and is comfortable knowing when he comes in for a healed photo, I can also treat as a follow-up to do what I need to make it look nice. Understandable. So if there's things you want to improve upon, you can do that when they come back. Okay, and this is all in one photo. All right, so let's take a look. All right, we see our reference. Got a good chunk of our reference here. Okay, so I'm gonna look at this and this. This seems to be where you get it a little bit better here, but down here, what's throwing me off, again, just one opinion, you see it appears here that the nose, because of the white fur, like indents super far. Like it looks like it goes up his face. Where here that black is a bit more solid. You left it a little bit more open. You added some of these black hairs here, but this light patch, which is this light patch here, needs to have more dark in it with just a little bit of light shining through. That's going to make it look like it does here, and not so much as if the nose is being pushed in, if that makes sense. So I would definitely go back and add some more black here and really make sure you're following that stencil, that reference, because this is solid black and it's not solid black here. Solid black. Where'd you get this opening right here? It's not over here, right? Bring that black. If it says it's true black, give it true black, because if not, it's going to mess up proportions and depth and what have you. It's not as noticeable over here, but again, same thing. This is solid black, and it does not look solid black here. It looks like maybe you didn't saturate it all the way or something. Let's look at the drawing. Again, the drawing comes across a little bit better. It doesn't quite look like this nose is like brought in. It looks like the fur is coming out. I still think that you needed to bring that black all the way over. Look at that reference. That black, almost that solid black, almost runs right into the eyeball itself. But it's not running into the eyeball itself here. It's stopping short. So now the nose, I think the nose looks pretty good. But again, it looks like we're adding stuff or taking away things, or your reference was a lighter version of what I'm looking at here. Because here, this is all black. I don't know where we have all this extra bit here. This is solid black. Again, your reference might have been a different version. Maybe it had more tonnage in it than the one you sent. But that's my opinion on it. Overall, you just the same thing throughout. It needs the solid black. All right, Andy, I'm done. I'm done ranting.
I mean, I don't really do portraits myself, but I probably would have done this one. It's like you say, where I pretty much agree with you. I mean, the nose looks off, and look, this dog's got the black in areas. It's got fur. Now, fur is the hardest part to do, and trying to do it like you've done it with a liner doesn't really cut it. I mean, you could use the side of a mag or this, that, and other. Now, but what does get me, and I'm looking at these references, Dave. You've got a line over the top of dog's forehead. It's put in black. There's no line there. If you look at it, it's a soft line between the white and the black. So the top of the dog's head should have been jet black.
Right.
Dragged into that white part. And then we look at this far right photo down the side of the cheek. You can see where he's lined these areas out. Yes, and I'm looking at the dog. I can see the black parts, but they're not lined. You'd have been on the edge of a mag and you'd have gone backwards and forwards with the black.
That's it.
This portrait should have been tackled from the point you've gone through, put all your darks in, put all your blacks in, this, that, and other, edge of your mag, soften it all up, work your tones, work a lighter tone and put your mid-tones in. There's a lot of, unfortunately, what I will say is, for a portrait, it's not a portrait, if you understand what I mean. Yes, it is, and you can see the resemblance, but for a portrait, it's very hurried. You've got lines in this, that, and other. Whereas you should have been mag and everything should have been softer. There's no hard black lines on that portrait. When you look across, so there should have been no hard black lines in your reference to it. And like you said, Dave, the nose, this center of this nose here, and this bit is jet black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean on the portrait. This nostril is virtually jet black, barring two little tiny white, light grey dots. This one's completely black. But then you look over the top of the nose here. It's not just shaded in black. If you look at that, you could have got away with putting some black, but then using Coin and Mr. Razors for it, like a scribbled effect to put the black in, then a lighter grey and some bits of white to give it them highlights, and then there's the highlights around the nostrils. And I know he's only dabbling, and it just seems to Mr. Mark like under the nose, this is lighter grey, black here. There's a tiny little bit of black, but then all the bottom of the jaw here is really light, and it finishes off really light. Now,
yeah, I think this is an example of just not following the reference.
Yeah,
you know, the biggest thing. I mean, let's look. If we look at this left eye too, Andy. I mean, where's all this open area coming from?
Yeah,
where's this giant white spot in the center?
It's not even the same shape because the eye itself meets the eyeball meets the top of the eyelid.
Yeah, this should be it. Eyelid right here, right? Where you're saying this bit right here. Yeah. That's
so it's missed. Now this. What I'm saying is, so if you draw back, if you come away from it now, Dave, right? So like you said, that's the picture that is being given. You look at the drawing. The drawing is more nearer than the tattoo. But what I'm saying is, the drawing again is still quite far away from the original reference, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The drawing could have been honed a little bit more, but it is closer. It's a lot closer to the reference than what is the tattoo is.
Yeah, it reads a lot more. I mean, this dog right here, drawing wise, it's like, all right, cool. I see that. It reads dog to me. It looks fine to me. No problem, you know. But then tattooed, we just missed some of the things that we did correctly here. We didn't do those correctly down here. And I'm assuming the reference must have been a lighter version, because if you're following this dark contrasted version here, it looks different here, right? So I'm guessing your reference again. Yeah, look, Mike says it as well here. I was going to say it earlier. He or she lined their shadow, right? You can see that here, you know, and that's, I don't know, maybe your stencil was running away from you. Maybe you was making some stuff up on the fly. I don't know, but it's not really the best way to go, because we see that. You can see that. And when it heals, you're going to see that even more, because that's going to be super.
The thing is, Dave, I've had stencils run, in my time, I've had stencils starting to run away from me. So it's quite simple. I've mixed maybe 1 or 2 drop with pure water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's been that bad, I've quickly, because I'm knowing I'm going to go super dark over it anyway, I've quickly got a 3-round liner and just marked it out. You know what I mean? With a super light grey wash. Or you can even go back to the old saying, clean needle, dip it in your rinse cup, boom, bloodline it. I know it's not the best situation. It's not the best situation, but it beats leaving a black line round it like that, because you're going to go over it with the edge of a mag, you know, and soften your fur in and do it like that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, but thanks for sending that in, Andy. I'm glad we could take a look at it and give you our opinions. All right, this is from Snake Eyes. Here are my most recent work. I used a 3-round liner, 7 curve mag, and 11 curve mag, both long taper and silicone fake skin. It's hard to practice on silicone fake skin, honestly. Hope you guys like it. You're not wrong. It is hard to practice on silicone fake skin, but hey, you're practicing nonetheless. And hey, from here, wow, this is kind of cool, man. Yeah.
Now, babies' faces portraits are one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, I think they did nice. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they don't have a massive facial features. They've got super soft, slick, you know, skin, and everything. And I think they've done a really, really good job on this here. And this is just me being me. I think just some of the dark lines that you've put in some of the areas maybe a bit harsh, as if they're put in with a liner. They could have just try to even though they need to be dark, just try soften them somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just running a hard line around them.
Yeah, they could have small
instead
matted.
of using a black, maybe use just the very tip corner of your mag and just run it around, but maybe use a really deep grey wash to start with instead of a harsh black. But I don't do portraits, so it's a bit unfair.
Yeah, I really like this piece, man. I think they did a stellar job. The eyes are, and I'm not saying you're saying anything other than that, but the eyes are really nice as well. They're small, but you got a nice amount of detail in there. You reserved your black for a few lines, which really give definition in a very subtle but positive manner. I like what you did with the hair here. I mean, baby hair as well can be a real struggle. I think you got that without overdoing it and getting it crazy. It's all very soft, and as I'm sure you already know, shading soft shading on fake skin is a really difficult thing to do. It control a lot of hand control. And again, I will say what I would like to see. And again, this is just one dude who, opinion here, but I would like a little bit of a little bit of dark, like a little extra dark, maybe in some of these shadows. Not a lot, just how you did a little bit of lineage here or right here, how it gives so much depth in such a quick and easy manner. Maybe just a little bit more dark. I don't know if it'd be black, but maybe dark. But overall, I mean, what do I got to say? I think it looks fantastic. But yeah, just in some of these spots throughout here, it would have been nice. But just my opinion. There's
a question up there off Josh as well.
What is that?
Josh, hey guys, so what iPad and app is best for stenciling? I hate doing it by hand. Stencilings are never perfect.
Well, Andy, you already know I use the iPad with an Apple Pencil, and I use Procreate. That's if you want to use Apple products. If that's what you want, if you are fine with using Apple products, then you can go with an iPad, and get one of the pencils that go with the iPad. And then you pay, I think it's still, I don't know what it costs now, but it was $10 when I got it. $10 or $15, and you buy an app called Procreate. And you watch a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to use Procreate and how to make stencils there. Then when you make your stencil, you can print it to a printer. And then from there, you can run it through a stencil machine or whatnot. Or you can send it straight from your tablet to a printer, inkjet printer that, you can print your stencil just like that. There's various ways. Go make sure that you subscribe to Andy's channel. It's _tattoo_studio, because this week we are going to be going live on Andy's channel, and we are going to be talking about stencils from paper on through, right, Andy? We're going to be discussing stencils.
And like you said, you've got iPad. I don't do Apple products, Dave. So that's mine. Mine's Microsoft. Same again.
Yep.
Got Total Pencil, but I use an app called Sketchbook Pro, and it's about the same as yours, about $10-15.
Okay.
And then just basically watch a crap load of YouTube videos on how to use it. And I don't know about you, but you'll find that it don't take long, because as tattoo artists, we don't use all the features that are in it anyway. Yeah. You only use a handful of features going through it. It don't take you long, and then it's just a case of using it and get familiar with it.
Very true.
But like I said, that'll be Thursday. That'll be this Thursday over on my channel, won't it? We'll go through stencils and everything.
Sweet.
And products.
Let's say, so this piece, a lot like the other piece, but these pieces look like this particular person. I don't know you snake eyes, but it looks like you probably had a lot of time using graphite pencils, maybe doing pencil work, because it has that sort of graphite pencil feel where the darkest you can go with a pencil is only so dark. That's what it feels here, because I really love it a lot. I mean, we get all these little wrinkles in the face, all the textures there. The eyes are, again, banging in my opinion. I love the darkness in the hair, and this hair feels like it's smoothly slicked back. A nice solid light source right there in the middle. I think the downside for me is going to be this portion a little bit here, which can be a bit tricky, the lip and whatnot. Lining might be something still that's, I don't know, it feels a little gentle. Maybe it's by design. I still think that you should embrace a little bit more black in your work, a little bit more depth, a little bit more darkness. I know you reserve it, it seems like, for key spots, but I personally would just put a little bit more black in there. Find spots where you can punch that in a little bit more, and that's going to give more contrast to the piece.
Yeah, I mean, I love the eyes on this one.
Yeah,
I love the eyes, and the eyebrows, and like you said, the amount of texture they've got in face, wrinkles, forehead, and I'm pretty much with you. It's just some areas could just do with that little bit of an extra punch, with a little bit of black, proper, full on black.
Yeah.
But yes, this person knows how. I would say that this person knows how to draw, and they draw comfortably with charcoal or graphite on paper. But as you say, in tattooing, you have got to embrace pure black.
Yeah, we need that contrast. It's tricky,
especially with these pieces.
Things on skin, just
I like this.
That is so nice. Again, it just has that really nice, smooth pencil feel. I love how they can get so much out of this without needing to use a whole lot of black. Like, that nose is just perfect. You just want to grab it, and they didn't need all the extra stuff in there. Just beautifully done. So I just think, again, Andy, beating a dead horse here, the only thing I would change, it has such a cool, sketchy sort of look, but a real refined. And you can take it or leave it, but again, I would just find spots to add more black, and that's just going to push this awesome piece forward.
Yeah, it's a slick piece, isn't it? Let's be right. It is a slick piece. Again, beating a dead horse, just embrace some of them really dark tones. Like up in, as well, looking at this left-hand side, just in that airline, just at the top, just down here, it'd be nice, just a tiny little bit of black, just down here under here, downside the neck. Just a couple of little pieces which had probably taken it to the next dimension, just separated a little bit more. But hey, it's a slick piece.
Yeah,
it's a nice piece.
Man, that is so nice. I just really, gosh, man. I always overcomplicate things and have to have all kinds of darks and stuff. They work so well in these light tones. I mean, in skin, it can be a little more challenging. Maybe you work in skin. I don't know. I don't know you very well, Snake Guys, but I really like what you got here, man. Yeah. Favorite has got to be this one. Second, maybe third. Yeah,
that's super slick.
Super cool, man. Thank you. Emily Matthews is up next. My first week in so far, still learning and watching all your information videos and reading and absorbing information. Thanks. That's the best you can do. Don't just watch my videos. There's a lot of great people making content. Watch them all, absorb all of it, and just keep absorbing it, because in 1 week it's not going to be great, right? Okay, yeah, you got a lot of things going on in here. Looks like you got some whip shading, some lining. And for 1 week, the lining's not too bad. At least it's like relatively consistent. It could use a little bit more saturation in those. It's not bad. It does get a little muddy. The shading is a little bit rakey, if you will, and not quite slow and refined and detailed. But hey, you know what? This is 1 week in. It's looking pretty good.
The other thing I will say, that looks like the cheapest of cheapest fake skins.
It is.
I'll be honest, which ain't going to do you no favours. Also, Emily, it's like Dave said, Dave's pretty much covered it. Week in, probably where you expect it. Shading a bit grainy, a bit rakey. But what I would say, and like we've told other people, if you can, invest in the better skins, but you're falling into the category like we've all done, is to jump in doing big pieces to start with, because we all want to draw pretty pictures. basically. But try working smaller. You get a sheet of this fake skin, try basically dividing it into 4 and doing 4 pieces on one smaller. Then there's less chance of it running away from you. You're not going to be spending hours and hours and hours and beating yourself up over it. And just work it out from there. Because obviously there's a lot to take in, there's a lot to learn. Start simple, work your way in. Learn to walk before you can run, basically. Practice some line works, practice some shading. But hey, you're a week in. So, like I said, you just got to take things at a steady pace. And I think you'd be better off with investing in some better skin that will take ink better, because this isn't going to do anything for your work, and it's not going to do anything for your confidence working on this either.
Right. Hey, 1 week. Hey, not bad. Not bad, Emily. Keep it up. I'd love to, I mean, we follow so many different people here, so it's their progression. So be awesome to follow it.
A week in, you managed to get fairly solid lines, and you managed to get ink in skin, and you know what I mean. And that's you not doing so bad.
All right, it's me, Mike. Mike, what is going on, Mike? Let's see what we got in progress. All right, let's see. Okay, let's get in here and see if we can help you out. Well, the fake skin we're using, again, isn't the greatest, but hey, it doesn't look like it's the worst either. I definitely think this is not finished, obviously. I think I'm repeating the obvious here. Because down here, I'm not sure what's going to happen, because these leaves kind of become 1 leaf, become 3 leaves. I don't know if maybe when this is colored and shaded and everything's in here, this will read better, because it's reading kind of confusing down here. The lining, I would say slow down. You see how you get a nice, somewhat consistent line here, but then over here it's raky. You got to slow it down a little bit. Moving too fast, that means you're not giving it adequate time to saturate that line. And you see it throughout here as well. Getting a little bit of some wobbles here and there. Take your time, go slow. Again, this is how you can tell if you're saturating properly. Again, we got that light area versus dark areas. What I don't mind actually is what you got going on here for shading, because it has value, right? We have a nice depth here. We can read this is further in. We get a little bit lighter here. We leave some open skin. We got some black. I would just make sure wherever you put that black, you make sure that you go slow and really saturate. It's going to take that tattoo to a next level. So if this is supposed to be straight black, go over this nice and slow. Pack that black in, and then you can start blending it out. Same up here. Lining, I think it's something you're going to want to just really pay attention to and take your time with. Those are my thoughts, Andy.
I mean, it's like lining needs to pay attention. Again, like we just said to Emily, I mean, big pieces, straight in, off the bat. Scale it down, You can get good pieces on a quarter of these skins, Dave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's only a case of scaling everything down. And it's like I say, when you're going to get, it's going to work for you a lot better, because you're going to get a better skin to work in. It's going to take ink easier. It's going to show you work better. Yeah, it might cost you more, but because you're getting 4 pieces of work on the skin, you're actually getting better value for money.
Yeah.
And true. You're not going to get disheartened, because the thing is, we're working on cheap skins, thin skins, this, that, and other. It's never going to take ink properly. It's going to be so hard, and everything. But so, like I said, scale it down, hone it in, work on your lining, and like Dave says, if you're going to put black in, make sure the black's in. Work on your shading. But again, this is where it goes back to fundamentals. You need to get your line work something like, to start with, smooth, consistent, in, good line weight. And then from there, we seen one earlier on in stream, the lad were working on his line work, he'd done it, but he even admitted himself that we're doing it the right way. I'm not going to shade it yet because I
Yeah.
fully don't understand how to shade. So I'm not going to shade it. It's going to go back to it. And that's the sign of somebody that's going to go on and progress well, because he's got a load of, how can you put it? He can structure himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's another thing you got to be able to do. You got to be able to structure yourself when you're doing these. And like we said, we all want to do pretty pictures and going, but unfortunately, then you end up with a load of mistakes in it, or stuff that's not quite right, and you start getting 3, 4, 5 things that aren't quite right. Then it'll throw the piece off completely, and it makes it look a lot worse. Like within this one, we've got a few lines that aren't right. Then the top of the sword handle is where it's coming. It's got black, but then shaded quite dark. The shading isn't the smoothest. It needs working on. The design, I mean, the left-hand side of the jaw looks weird to me. The actual drawing part of it, where it comes up on this left-hand side, even though there's a leaf coming out of it, you would have still seen that jaw going round, and some of it, the back of the jaw, up the back of that leaf. It just doesn't look finished composition-wise either. And these are all the things that you've got to take into account when you're doing it. But like I said, they're on and the lines are in.
Yeah, for sure.
Fairly consistent. They seem to be fairly consistently in. Because obviously, yourself, we've seen scratchy lines, thin lines, lines that aren't in, they're not input properly, and that. But they seem to be getting there. But it's a case of they just got to dial the back, slow down, work a little bit slower, work on some simpler designs. And just get down to understanding what's doing what.
Yep, I agree with you, Andy. I agree. Well, it's an early day today, guys. We got through all of them.
Yeah.
As I'm aware, there are some. I think there's a fight going on tonight, so we'll make sure we probably jump off here a little early. Let those who want to watch the fight get to the fight. I mean, not that you're going to stay here and miss the fight, but no less. But yeah, had a pretty good time. We got to see some cool works today.
Yeah.
Got to BS and see some of our friends. It was a good one. And I want to make sure everybody goes over and if you're still here, if you still care, go check out Andy's channel. Make sure you subscribe there. That way, when we go live later this week, we're going to be talking about stencils, the paper, the designing of stencils, whatever we can come up with.
Yeah.
Tips, whatever. We're going to be discussing stencils over on Andy's channel this week.
Stencils, stencil fluids, stencil papers, stenciling iPads, Windows products, Android apps, whatever, and then get through that. If they want any other questions, like I said, it's a live chat, live questions and thing in it, Dev. So you just slam it in the chat as we're going along. Even if we're on about stencils and you put a question as we're going along, that's what that's for. We'll stop, we'll answer your question, we'll pick it back up, and we'll carry on answering. That's what it's there for. It's just straight up info, ask the questions, and we'll answer them the best we can over there. But go find the channel, subscribe, slam the notification bell, and we will be over there at some point this week when it's mutually convenient for us.
Yeah. I'm saying I'm sure over time we'll work out maybe more of a set date, but nonetheless, make sure you have the notifications turned on so that maybe if YouTube gods are willing, we'll send you a notification to let you know.
Yeah, what I found with that, I've worked that one out. That notification. It only pings seems to ping a notification out to anybody when it gets to the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So if you put a notification on and only got 20 minutes to go, it seems to be slow, pushing it out. But say like you're 45 minutes beforehand, but then once it hits the 30 minutes, then it just seems to mass ping everybody.
Oh, okay.
I think we could do a video about drawing. specifically for tattoo designs on your channel? Whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tattoo designs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Go over to mine. Or like I said, Bradley, go over to my channel, subscribe to whatever. Find the last video or wait till we do this one this week. Stick it in underneath and I'll just list them all down and we can do that. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. Like we said on Thursday, didn't we? Anybody's got any topics? Anybody got anything that specifically wants covering? If there's nothing you want something that specifically want it covering, we'll cover it. Question and answers, do it, cover it, whatever. And I just think it's one of them things. Rob, see you on Thursday.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
I suppose he's found my channel then.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Good. Thanks, Bradley. Appreciate it, man. Just you know.
Cheers, thank you, brother. But yeah, and we will. Like I said, we'll go through stuff. We'll have a bullshit about stencils and drawing stencils and what aids, like what aids you use within Procreate to help you create a stencil, Dave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we'll go ahead.
No, because I have aids within the sketchbook. There's aids within that I use, you know, obviously to help you.
Absolutely. Now it can be tricky, obviously, because we can only do so much, you know, holding stuff and maybe having the screen sharing. So we'll do our best to share as much as we can, you know, without trying to create some overly, 14 different camera angles and stuff here.
Yeah. Well, we'll try explain it the best. We can from.
I think it won't be too bad. Also, if you guys want, I did finally go and get link the Mass Pro cartridge needles. If you go in the description below, I have those linked down there. And then there's a 10% off link as well if you want to save a few, which I think is really cool because they're already a pretty stinking good deal. And then you can take 10% off, which is probably covers, the tax or whatever on the order, if you will. And I'm pretty sure you can use that code in the description to also save 10% off. I think anything on their site. I just happened to link the needles like to the page where their needles are at, and that's straight on the Master Pro website, because I'm telling you, when it comes to affordability in needles, the Mass Pro cartridges, Andy, you already know, you've been preaching it, are banging. For the money, you cannot beat them for the money.
No, you can. You can basically, Dave, use it. That code that you've got, you can use it. Like I said to you, I've got same code over on mine, but you can use it on anything on their site.
Heck yeah!
It's valid for anything that you buy off their site. The guys will get 10% off. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So yeah, they don't. That's one good thing with that site. They don't discriminate. That the codes that we've got are only for needles.
Right.
If they want 10%, off a $300 machine, they're going to get $30 off it. Do you understand what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
nice.
$10, $20, $30 is better off in your pocket than company's pocket.
Exactly. And I don't know. I always look at it like tax is pretty close to 10% on everything, so at least it cuts the tax away. I'll take that as a win most of the time. So anyhow, I'll keep that link down in the description of these videos, so that way when we go on these tirades talking about needles, people are always asking, hey, where can I find said needles? In the description, guys. Also, Eugene, what's up, man? Good to see you. We're wrapping things up, man. We already looked at everybody's work today. We're just bringing it to a close, doing our regular 10 to 15 minute BS chat here at the end. If you got any questions, get them in. Andy, I used opaques again. I say it for the first time on Saturday, and or True Grades, whatever. Apparently they're all the same now. And I really did enjoy it, man. It was nice. It was different. But not far off from where I felt comfortable with. And I'll be doing some more of the True Grays / opaques this week, so I'll have more of an opinion probably come next Sunday.
You'll be totally fine with them, Dave. You know.
Yeah, I really enjoyed them.
And once you, like you say, you sort of like get your head around it a little bit, and that it's a cross between, you can either do it one or two ways. You can either do it like shading black and grey, or you can do it like a bit like colour packing. You know what I mean? There's one of a couple of ways that you can use true greys / opaques. It's just, I don't know about you. You can pack in like colour, you can brush it in, you can get from solid, to like a washed out effect.
Yeah.
What's that, Eugene? Yeah, just wanted to say hi. And if Dave, did you get my message? I don't know.
Oh, where'd you send it to me, Eugene? Did you send it? I can look at my phone here. If you know where you sent it to, did you send it to Facebook? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to keep track. Some people message me everywhere, and I don't always able to get back to everybody. But if you tell me where you sent a message, I can see Instagram. Okay. Let's see. Who is oh, Eugene. Oh, okay, here we go. Hey, oh, okay. So I'll read it. I'm reading it for the moment here. I hope you're okay with me reading it because I haven't pre-read this. Hey, Dave, I have a CNC XW Plus and know that you use CNC and was wondering if you have ever encountered where the battery is charged, turns on, but when connected to the machine, it doesn't power the machine. Oh, wow. It's super nice having the 2 battery setup. Anyway, advice would be greatly appreciated. That is literally my backup machine. I use the Wand series, but sitting over here is the XW Plus. I use it as my backup because obviously it has its own proprietary battery setup. I can only use it with the machine, so it guarantees that I have another machine if something happens, and I know that I'm not going to have robbed these batteries and used them somewhere else because they only go to this machine. So, no, I've never had the issue, but what you could look into, just, you might want to be careful with it, but if this is saying it's charged, it's turning on and everything, and then when you're plugging it into your machine, this one's running just fine, obviously. You might want to check your connections here. So you could be getting a bad connection there. You could, sometimes you can rub these down a little bit, or maybe use some isopropyl alcohol and clean them a bit. It could be your connections on this side. Not saying it is, man, but that's where I would start. Maybe you've already done that. I'm not sure. Also, if nothing else, I would get with CNC and tell them what's up. And if they give you a hard time, they're not listening to you, I'll try to reach out for you. They don't listen to me either most times, but I will try for you if need be, man. Just let me know. But again, that would probably be my only place I would start. Check the
other thing as well, Dave. You know that CNC XW Plus that you've got there?
Yeah.
The battery, has it got a jump start facility on it?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's been a long time since doesn't sound like it. It doesn't exactly sound like it does.
No, because sometimes, obviously, if it has a jump start facility on it and it can be turned off, it won't kick your machine off to start with.
Oh, okay. I see.
It needs that boost. It needs that boost to start with to get your machine running and then drop it down. I just didn't know whether it did have a jump start facility.
It doesn't sound like it does. Sometimes you know what I mean. You can hear that kickstart.
Yeah.
And it could be a faulty battery. It's hard to say. And if it is, if you've cleaned the connections, and it's just something's not up, I would definitely reach out to CNC, email them, see if they can get back to you. The other isn't working. And again, Eugene, if you try and you can't get a hold of them, let me know. I can try. But again, it's about the same on my end as on your end, as far as it's not like they, really listen to me at all. I try to tell them stuff all the time. They don't listen. So I don't really work with them as much anymore because I feel like they're not, I don't know, just kind of distance a bit. So, but anyhow, that's
it's weird, isn't it? It's weird machines. And like you say, it's got that and you're on about that and they're not listening to you. And like I said, and on the flip side of it, the company that I got my faithful machine that I've been rocking for 3 years.
Yeah.
Thing, and it's like, well, after 3 years, eventually motors crapped out.
Right.
And they're like, well, we'll just They just sell you a motor if you want to put it in yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's totally weird how some companies will go that extra mile, and whereas some won't. And I wouldn't say that the machine that I'd initially bought was an overly expensive machine.
Yeah.
But the quality of the batteries, the quality of the machine, the motor, and everything, and I rocking that machine day in, day out for 3 years, and then it crapped out, and they went, "Oh, just if you want to put a motor in it yourself, here you go."
True.
Just, like I say,
yeah, and I'm looking forward to checking those batteries out. Like I was telling you before, we ordered those batteries from who did we order those from? Ambition. Yeah, 2 batteries for $120. They're very similar in size and function to the critical power packs, if I can speak, that I have. Just much more cost effective, and I'm looking forward to checking them out, seeing how they work. Andy, those are the same batteries that you're still using?
They're the same batteries, but I've got the slightly smaller ones.
I imagine they're probably pretty similar, other than just their size.
I've got the 1950s. You bought in the 2,400 milliamp hour ones, haven't you?
Yeah,
I've got the 1950s, and even the 1950 milliamp hours. I mean, 4 to 5 hours, and I'm only down battery by about 50%.
That's not bad.
So 6, 7, 8 hours, you know, and that's everything from a liner to shoveling 25 mags, 25 bullpen mags, and no problem. I don't see no, shall we say, fluctuation in power.
That's good. That's good. That's the main thing I was wondering about.
It seems pretty stable throughout. I can't say that I've seen any thing on it. But then again, it's like I said, the machine that I'm running them in, the machine's a little beast, little brushless motor thing. It's fired and inking, slick.
Nice. And for the money, again, knowing what you want, knowing what you're looking for, definitely all good things.
Yeah,
all good things.
It's one of them. I'm like I said, other than like I said, a couple of little niggly little things that come from when I got it. Nothing OTT. Though one thing with cams, but they've sent me some more. And like I say, so no, that I couldn't get my head around. Just a little tweak here, a little tweak there. Nothing major that you needed out for, and it just made it an even better machine. Mike, any thoughts on Killer Bee machines from England? I've never used them, so it would really be unfair for me to comment on it, unfortunately, my mate.
Same, man. I don't know. I've never tried used nothing. Unfortunately, there's many machines I've never.
Like I say, I'm a pretty much non-conformist when it comes to machines, and I'm pretty open about it. Whereas I could go buy Bishop, FK irons, Spectre, whatever. But you see, for me, when in my way my head works, it's an aluminium body with a plunger. Yeah, it's going to have a few electronics in it. It's going to have a tiny motor in it, and I tell you, slip it apart. That tiny motor is either going to come from China or Japan or Taiwan or something like that, because that's where they come from. So I just start looking elsewhere and thinking outside the box. And I've tried a few. A lot of them have been all right. Some have been good. Some have been better than others. I've just sold one on, which was okay, but it was a swash drive, and that's the only thing that I didn't like. And then I got that. I think the worst one I ever purchased was that Fold Pro.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, I just wouldn't recommend that to anybody. It's so many downsides to that thing.
Definitely.
just weren't powerful enough. And I mean, batteries were tiny, Dave. They were only like 1,500 milliamp hour at best.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is. If you got a few of them, you can swap them out here or there, but
they don't. You can only buy one.
Yeah, exactly. You can, remember the headache you went to get the batteries too, all to get it all put together and go, well, this is rubbish. Like, it's just weak.
Yeah, garbage, weak.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Huh?
Not great.
But,
it's not great at all.
All right, guys, we will jump out of here. Let you guys go. We did our 20-minute BS rant at the end. We're gonna save all the good stuff for Andy's stream this week. So make sure you go over to Andy's channel. That's _tattoo_studio. And oh good no Lord. Make sure you subscribe, turn the bell on, and maybe YouTube will send you a notification when we're live. And hopefully that'll be on Thursday, correct? This Thursday.
Hopefully it'll be Thursday. Fingers crossed. If everything lines up, we can get out Thursday, maybe a little bit, like I say, it's a little bit earlier than what we do yours, but
which is good for. I imagine it's gonna be good for some people. Because that day, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, I got a big one that day, so it might be a little later, but
that's fine. That's fine, because end of the day, there's 5 hours between me and you.
Right.
So it just means that all I'll be here again.
I'll be up late again. No big deal.
Yeah. But like I say, but if they don't subscribe, don't ring bell, they won't see us go live over there. Right. And it's just straight up live Q&As, ask your questions, we'll answer your questions. We are going to drill around topic of stenciling, drawing, stencil paper, stencil stuffs, iPads, Windows tablets, apps, pros, cons, and tricks and tips for that to help you out. And then after we've covered that, else that you want to ask, and fire your questions in, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Yep, just here to help however we can, guys. We enjoy it just as much. So thank you, guys. We will see you guys later on this week. Have a good evening, and peace.